and a computerized teacher would be less in tune with what students need. Just to take it from the top. So a very important aspect of teaching is the ability of the teacher to shape their teaching style to the needs of their students. As an example, if students are given a class, if students in any given class are having trouble understanding a classroom topic, the teacher can rephrase the topic and deliver it in a more effective way. A computerized teacher would be less in tune with what the students need. Okay, with what we're going to change this to what the students require, and thus would be incapable of doing this. Okay, so in these three sentences, now we've given an example, and then we've turned it to the other side and just shown how technology would not be able to match a teacher in this example. So in the last sentence then, we want to link this whole paragraph to our thesis. And so it's basically, we're just saying how technology is not going to take the place of a teacher. We kind of want to say that it's obvious from this example and from this paragraph that that this is not going to happen. So we'd use a word like thus. Thus, technology will not replace teachers. Okay. Okay, now, so coming to supporting paragraph 2, and in supporting paragraph 2, our topic was motivation. Okay, so we want to say at the beginning something along the lines of, so motivation motivation and discipline are key to a student's academic success in the classroom. Motivation and discipline are key to a student's academic success in the classroom. Now, just to reiterate, so this topic in supporting paragraph 2, this links way back up to in our introduction paragraph. See at the end here we have our outline sentence, and the second part of our outline sentence gives us the second supporting paragraph topic. Okay, so now back down again. Okay, so we want to come up with an example, a discussion, and a conclusion as well for this. So we might say something like an example, let's change this to this is very apparent, excuse me if I spelled that wrong, I'll check it later. This is very apparent when teaching children. As children require more motivation and discipline to be taught effectively. Let's just review that. We might want to rephrase it. Motivation and discipline are key to a student's academic success in the classroom. This is very apparent when teaching children, as children require more motivation and discipline to be taught effectively. Okay, to be taught effectively. Okay, and so now we're coming up with our discussion sentence, which once again is just going to point out that technology cannot do this. So we might say something like a technology-based teacher simply cannot accomplish this. Maybe we'll even stick in here, as certain situations require judgment as to whether a student is acting in an inappropriate manner. A technology-based teacher simply cannot accomplish this, as certain situations require judgment as to whether a student is acting in an inappropriate manner. So we're basically just saying now, especially once again, that if we're teaching children, that that if the kids are not paying attention or they're acting up in class, well, kids do that. So a human teacher would be able to deal with this situation and help guide the kids, you know, and then help them to pay attention again. But a technology-based teacher would not be able to do this. So we're arguing that this would make the entire technology-based classroom ineffective. Okay, now our last sentence once again, so we want to link our thesis to this supporting paragraph. So to do that, we would write a linking phrase. Now before we used thus, I think you can still see it in the screen here, up here, thus. So we might say something like, after analyzing this, it is clear that teachers will always be needed in the classroom. Okay, and just to take it from the top again, so motivation and discipline are key to a student's academic success in the classroom. This is very apparent when teaching children, as children require more motivation and discipline to be taught effectively. A technology-based teacher simply cannot accomplish this, as certain situations require judgment as to whether a student is acting in an inappropriate manner. After analyzing this, it is clear that teachers will always be needed in the classroom. So that's our supporting paragraph 2. Now when we come down to our concluding paragraph, so concluding. So basically the concluding paragraph just has these 3 sections, and in my opinion,